There's nothing better than a TV show that goes out on an all-time high note and doesn't just drag on for extra seasons, so here are TV shows that ended exactly when they should have. We gotta start off with the obvious example, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender. This show came in, gave us 3 seasons of absolutely peak. It never dipped in quality and honestly only got better as it went on. Like, some of those final episodes of season 3 are absolutely incredible, and then it gave us a great ending. But what's kind of funny about that is they originally planned for 4 seasons, but I think it worked out perfectly ending after 3. By stopping where you did, every character had a full arc. You completed the story that you came in to tell, and they did a good thing by just releasing comics of telling the future storylines that they wanted to do. We're a little over a year away from getting a new Avatar movie, actually following Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph, all of them grown up, but that's still not going to take away from the ending of this TV show if it's not good, but I have hopes it's going to be actually an amazing movie. Penguin has really been one of the highlights of this year for me, and it's kind of funny that I found this to be the perfect length because everybody's been complaining, including me, about these like 6 to 8 episode TV shows and seasons now. It doesn't ever feel like enough. The Penguin proved you can come in with 8 perfect episodes, tell an amazing story with some devastating consequences by the end of it. Like, that final episode is absolutely devastating, but it still is an absolute masterpiece of a final and just such a great conclusion to this miniseries. It was such a perfect season and ending of television that I don't want a second season to ever come from this, honestly, because I feel like they'll just be trying to just do something just because there was high viewership and praise for it. It will kind of just feel unnecessary at that point, but this was a legendary season of television. Like, Colin Farrell deserves so many awards for his performance as Oz, but he's not the only one. Kristen Milioti also deserves so much for Sophia Falcone. If they're not showered in awards at the Emmys, something's wrong with the ceremony. My boy Vic honestly deserves some credit too. He was so good in this show. His character is absolutely heartbreaking from beginning to end, honestly. Star Wars Rebels is a show that started off pretty rough, to say the least. I'll never forget when my friend recommended me this show. He's like, dude, you gotta watch it. It's gonna be peak. And I turned on that first episode and I almost laughed out loud from how bad the animation in this looked. And it literally felt like it was made for babies in the first couple episodes. I was like, what is this? Luckily, the show finds its stride a couple episodes in and honestly never turns back. We get 4 really great seasons of Star Wars content with such a likable cast of characters. What's most impressive is how this show knew right when to end it. It was just getting even better and better with honestly every episode. Like, the final 6 episodes of the show have some of the best moments of the entire series, and they're like, no, we know our place, we know the story we wanted to tell, we're ending it here. I'm so glad. This is a show you could have easily seen them milking because of the Star Wars name. It's targeted towards a younger audience. Normally kids shows get milked for just countless seasons. This could be some random thing that ended up with like 12 seasons with different voice actors coming in, the budget getting cut just to milk the brand, but they didn't do that. They cut it off when they should have, and it was an incredible ending. We got another villain-based show on this list with Loki. This came in, again, 2 seasons of absolute perfection and knew right when to cut the cord. This was getting showered with praise. It was one of the most watched MCU TV shows, and the MCU was desperately needing a hit. The fact that they came in and gave us such a conclusive ending to season 2 and pretty much wrote off any future seasons was honestly really remarkable because, again, you could see this thing getting milked, but no, they gave us a beautiful 2-season story. Loki was already one of the best MCU characters. His arc was already incredible, ending in Avengers Infinity War when he originally died, and this somehow undid that kind of in a way and still made it better. Even his development that he has from the beginning of season 1 to the end of season 2 is incredible, and when you wrap that in with his entire MCU storyline, this was really just an incredible show. So many great supporting characters like Morbius too. I realized I just said Morbius instead of Mobius. I swear I wasn't doing that on purpose. Peaky Blinders is a little bit different than the other ones on this list, and it's because I don't think the 6th and final season is one of the best seasons of the show, but it is still really good overall, and it doesn't feel like they were dragging on the story. There's still some amazing moments with Cillian Murphy just giving an all-time great performance in that final season. Even though it might have been a little bit of a higher high to end on like season 5, and we know we're getting the movie next year at some point to be like the real final conclusion to this, still think the quality of the show never really dipped. It never felt like the show was just dragging on and trying to prolong the story past what it was told. I think things just, certain episodes in season 6 went on a little bit long, but the story itself was still very good. Let's get some more Star Wars animation in here because, yeah, the Clone Wars, again, off to a little bit of a bumpy start with the first season of the show, but by the end of this thing, there was so many of the greatest moments in Star Wars history, not even just the show, of all Star Wars movies included. Nick goes out with 3 of some of the best things ever created in the Star Wars universe. Those final 3 episodes are literally some of the greatest TV episodes I've ever seen in my life, an absolutely beautiful and devastating ending. Yeah, there are definitely filler arcs and episodes all throughout the seasons of this show, but it never really took away from the quality, honestly. I just enjoyed spending that time with the characters, and it got made made up for with the absolute peak we were able to get with this series too. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about the show Seinfeld itself, and especially the series finale, because it was very just out of left field compared to the rest of the series. I personally really like the final episode. I think it fits in with the show perfectly, and I just think this deserves to be up here because for 9 seasons, this show kept up a level of consistency that you really just don't see with sitcoms. So many, when they reach this many seasons, just fell off a cliff at the end. Seinfeld really stayed funny all the way through the entire last season. It never dipped in quality. They even offered Jerry Seinfeld like all the money in the world to come back and do a 10th season, and he said no because obviously he already has all the money in the world. He didn't need it. He felt like it was a good place to end the show, and I honestly just couldn't agree more. Another show that had a very controversial ending that I really like is Attack on Titan. Now, I don't think anybody can argue the entire quality of the 4 seasons of television, some of the greatest TV I've ever seen in my life, not even just animated. I think the ending perfectly captures the entire themes that were going on from literally the first episode of this show and gives us a perfect and realistic ending for what would happen in the scenario, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't really like it. But really just a perfect story through and through. It didn't drag on for countless seasons. There's so many anime out there that just have so much filler that it makes it almost unwatchable to get through without skipping through some of it or just dropping the show in its entirety, and this show never dipped in quality for literally 1 second. It will forever be one of my favorite shows of all time. This definitely isn't always the case. Some shows honestly needed a lot more seasons, and others honestly should have ended way before they actually did. So if you want to see videos on those, hit the like button. Click up above my head to check out another video on the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching.